Hello everyone, and welcome back to Speakers, Spurs and me, Kieran, talking all things Tottenham. I apologise if you hear any noises in the background. I am on my break, I am set in a park. It's the school holidays, so plenty of kids about, and there's a really annoying bird in a tree that is going absolutely mental. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the game against Shakhtar, massive victory, only homegrown players scoring. A little bit on Harry Kane and the annoyance surrounding that situation, and then just briefly to mention the medicals that should be happening today. So for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. We talk about everything to do with Tottenham. I get involved in the comments as well. A lot of people comment on each other's stuff, which is great. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to support the video with a like, and yeah, leave your comments below and I'll try and get back to you. So jumping into the game, the important thing about playing a team like Shakhtar, they've obviously got good Champions League, European pedigree. They're partway through their season as well, so their players are fit, which is helpful for us because we've had a disrupted pre-season. Obviously the game against West Ham, our first game, you know, our players were very much at the beginning of their pre-season. West Ham were partway through. So for us, that was a difficult one to jump straight into. You know, the next game was obviously cancelled due to weather, so they ended up being put through hard training. And then the game after that should have been against Roma, but that all changed because their pre-season tour, there were some errors there. So that was against weakened opposition, which was nice in a way because it gave the players a chance to test out the new system without being put under too much pressure. But the Shakhtar game, the reason why it's good, yeah, they're partway through the season, their fitness levels are good. It was obviously for a very good cause, the game. But it just meant we were coming up against an opposition that were going to be difficult at times. I know it was made to look very easy in the end, but the first half, very much, you know, Shakhtar did what they needed to do. Our biggest struggles was putting the ball in the back of the net. There were some good saves made by both the keepers that were used by Shakhtar in the first half. Yeah, so let's talk about the players themselves. So you will have noticed that Richarlison wasn't named on the bench or anything. He picked up a little knock in training, nothing too serious. He should be back for the game against Barcelona. Yeah, so that's nothing really to worry about, which obviously meant no matter what Harry Kane was going to play, don't read too much into it that he played. The club kind of had to do it, even if he was going. It's very much one of them where if they don't play him, you know he's going. So I think, you know, either way, whatever, but we'll get onto that in a bit. So the players that did actually play, Vicario obviously played in goal. I mean, he played all right, and I feel sorry for him. The goals that he's conceded in pre-season, I've seen a lot of criticism. You know, people moaning because Sanchez has obviously has now been picked up, Onana was picked up. None of the goals have really been his fault. They've all been very close range errors from our defence that he can't do a lot about, and it was the same this time. But however, he did make a terrific fly-in save from Newton in the second half before diving to make a brave stop soon after. So, you know, that was all good to see. But Barcelona will probably be a bigger test, and they will probably try and take some more shots from a little bit of a distance. So, you know, we're still unsure as to what Vicario can do. Emerson Royal, for me, I think has to start the game against Brentford. He saw an early follow-up to Kane's save shot deflected over before having a low shot saved later in the half. Played a no-look pass that really didn't go well in the visitors' box, but I think for him it's pure reaction. Otherwise, energetic display up and down the right flank, and he very much suits this inverted full-back role. So what happens with the other managers that we've had that have played the attacking wing-backs, they get down the outside. The way that we're playing this system, they cut inside and quite often pop up in midfield. You would have seen Udogie was actually in a central midfield area for quite a lot of the first and second half. So yeah, Emerson Royal, I think, made some really fantastic sliding challenges to stop crosses from coming in. And I think we're now going to see the best of him. And Porro might struggle to get regular starting time. On the other side, yeah, Udogie, really bright performance from him. That's his first 90 minutes completed in a Spurs shirt as well. Some confident play under pressure, and he got into plenty of advanced positions as well. Picking up a nice little relationship with Sonny as well, which is good to see. Then centre-backs, Christian Romero, putting a few challenges and marshalled Shakhtar well for much of the game. Managed to pick up his token yellow card, which is annoying because even in a pre-season he's making those late lunges, so he still hasn't learnt yet. Next to him, Ben Davies taking up the left centre-back role. Did well until the final moments of the half when he was beaten by Kelsey, who headed the visitors at level. Postecoglou sees him as more of a left-back, and that's clear that he's just filling in until hopefully Van der Ven gets through his medical and becomes an official Spurs player and is ready to sign, which means at the moment he trusts Ben Davies more than he trusts Eric Dyer, Davinson Sanchez, Joe Rodon, Japhet Tanganga, so that says a lot. It's probably because he's left-footed, very much wants a left-footer there. Moving into the midfield, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg was probably someone that you weren't expecting to see because he's been linked very much with Atletico Madrid, and it looked like he was going to be on the way out. However, when there's opportunities to play him, he is playing. Obviously, there was the knock to Bizuma. He'll be fine for the season. It wasn't anything too drastic. So I'm not surprised Højbjerg's in there, and I think he's very much open, Postecoglou, to using him if he doesn't go. The same with Harry Kane, you know. But he had plenty of good moments in the midfield. But it was actually his rash avit or boot upfield that got Postecoglou a little rattled towards the end of the first half because he wants them to play football. That led to Shakhtar actually getting their break when they went on to score. But he made plenty of interceptions throughout the game, plenty of blocks. He made a really important interception in the build-up to Kane's third goal. And I was watching it on Spurs Play, the game, and, you know, obviously the commentary is biased because it's, you know, Spurs people talking, but they were very impressed with him, and so was I. Pat Matasar was the other one that played in the midfield, and Postecoglou loves the Senegalese international a lot. And there's a lot of screaming going on there. Yeah, he loves him. Started the game with plenty of drive, firing a low shot that the keeper saved. Højbjerg then teed him up for a turn and volley that was pushed over by the stopper. Really eye-catching display. Really impressed. Good composure on the ball. He isn't afraid to try and take charge of a game. So yeah, good performance from him. James Maddison, constant busy, creative presence. It was his quick feet that actually drew the foul that resulted in the penalty. And I was looking at this throughout the game. His footwork is really good and he's really quick with his feet in tight spaces. It looks quite flashy at times, but it's not. It's very, very simple moves. It's just drag turns or shuffling it from left to right really quickly. And if he can stay fit, it's going to be very, very important to us. He carved out another chance for himself soon after with some clever play. There was like 3 or 4 opportunities for players to shoot and it just wasn't coming, and he managed to turn a player twice and take the shot. Grabbed an assist with a deep cross for Kane to head home for his second, and if he can steer, as I said, away from injury, is really going to be massive for us, especially if Harry Kane stays. But if not, with those deep crosses and Richarlison's in there, Richarlison's actually very good in the air himself, so no qualms there. Kulusevski, arguably his best game for a very, very long time for Spurs. Teed up Kane for a chance early on with a ball through, tested the keeper himself with a low effort 20 minutes in, then played a clever nutmeg pass to Kane for the striker's third goal, and he got better and better as the game wore on. He was near unplayable in the second half, and he teed up Scarlett's late goal as well. And I think his confidence is coming back. He was driving well, he was very good on the ball, so I think this system and the confidence is going to suit him, knowing his defensive duties are not as strict. So yeah, then moving on to Sonny. Right down the left, linked up well with Udogie, played the ball into Maddison, which brought the penalty. He was involved in pretty much everything good that Spurs did without being amazing himself, but it was I'd say it was a performance that we would expect from him rather than what we had last season. It's obvious that he's pretty much over the injury. Then Harry Kane, the man of the moment, the discussions ongoing. His professionalism never wavered in this game. Forced the keeper into a couple of early saves, then put Son away with a great curling cross. He got the chance to score before the break with the low penalty into the right-hand corner, taken expertly as always. He then added a second with a header from Maddison's deep cross before tucking away the tidy finish to complete the hat-trick. He added a fourth on 79 minutes with a tap-in, and that was from Manuel Solomon's shot. And he was just in the right place at the right time, and then went on to applaud the crowd who sang for him to stay. Now, The only thing I would say when people are reading into this, he did walk around the pitch and was clapping all the fans. But for those of you that go to Spurs regularly, you will know that he always goes round and claps the home fans. It's nothing new to us. So that wasn't a goodbye. The only thing that I read into a tiny bit, and I mean a tiny bit, when he scored that penalty, the reaction from the other Spurs players when they went in to congratulate him. They didn't for the rest of the goals. I mean, they congratulated him as usual, but that one, for me, it looked a little like, could this be my last goal for Spurs? And I'm not saying he's going to go. There's still a lot to do before that decision is made, but it just felt a little strange for me, the way the other players reacted, not Harry Kane. So, we'll see. Moving on to the substitutes that came on in this game, and there wasn't many because he's trying to get legs in the players, so a lot of them played 90 minutes. The majority of them played at least 75 minutes. So Lo Celso came on with 15 minutes or so to go, added some fresh legs into the midfield. Not really enough time to him to get into the game. Shakhtar by this point had gone quite defensive and were just playing the ball around. He actually played a ball into Solomon where the shot happened, which led to Kane's fourth goal. And then, Solomon himself came on, bright little cameo. His run and shot obviously leading to the goal. Dane Scarlett, homegrown player, scored with the final kick of the game, a turn and a powerful left foot finish. That's his weaker foot, by the way, into the far corner. Really happy for him. And then Oliver Skipp just came on to replace Sarr for the final moments of the match. Little bits on the system. I think it's working. I think the players are enjoying it. Defensively, obviously, there's still some work to do. I think the goal is probably because Ben Davies was just out-muscled in terms of height. He's not the tallest, was never going to match the leap. So, can forgive that one a little bit. But I'm enjoying the football. We're carving out loads of chances, 32 shots in this game, and it's something that we're going to see more and more regularly. We're dominating possession, which is something we haven't been used to in the last few seasons. You have to go back to Pochettino days for the last time we really dominated possession. But the shots is the part that I'm most happy with. We hadn't scored loads early on in pre-season, but this time 32 shots, and we were rewarded with 5 goals. And it just goes to show as well, keeping Harry Kane and letting him go for a free might not be the worst thing in the world. So as I said before, when I did the Champions League, I did a video, some of you will have watched it, about the breakdown of the money that we get for being in the Champions League. So obviously if we say we finish anywhere in those places, even if they go for the qualifying stages, you obviously get your Premier League finishing place, you then get money for being in the Champions League, then for every win you get, you collect money, draws and losses, you still collect money in the group stages. So if you add it up and we get to a certain stage in the Champions League, losing Kane for free, you've already made that 100 million anyway. So financially, it's not a big an issue as people think. So I think seeing that he scored 4 goals, I'd probably say just keep him and allow him to go for free if you have to. And you're playing a dangerous game, but if we do well, he might extend his contract, who knows. Interview with Ange. I'm just going to pick out a few of the questions because a lot of them were about Harry Kane and that's a waste of time. So he was asked, how do you assess how far the players have come with your system? He said it's hard to say. We've had a disrupted pre-season, we've had a game cancelled, the other fixture we didn't have the opposition we were expecting. We feel we probably are a little bit, but today's game hopefully edges us closer, and we've got Barcelona on Tuesday, so we can get more match minutes into guys. The players are working hard and trying to adopt the methodology and the way we want to play. You can see there is a progression there, but still a long way to go, and players still come into the squad as well who have to be integrated into it, so we've still got a big amount of work to do. Now, one of the things he was really unhappy with towards the end of the first half was just the fact that we were holding on to the 1-0 to go in at half time rather than going for the jugular. And I don't know how many of you could hear it that were watching the game. You certainly wouldn't have in the stadium, but on their TV on Spurs Play, I could hear somebody shouting pass, pass, pass every time defenders were holding on to the ball for too long, and I'm pretty sure that was Ange. He likes defenders to move the ball on quickly so we can transition straight into attack. And I'm pretty sure that was him, and he was shouting it a lot. And the defenders at the moment are too busy, they're too used to holding on to the ball, running down the game, and his playing style is relentless. He just wants to get the ball straight onto the front foot. So He was then asked, in terms of outgoings, you've got 35 players, would you prefer working with closer to 25? He said, look, I don't have a fixed number in my head, but fair to say our squad is too big at the moment. There's obviously guys who will look for opportunities elsewhere. From my perspective, it's not something I'm involved in. I will deal with what's in front of me, and I think we'll see some movement over the next few weeks. We've obviously got a bit of time before the end of the transfer window. He was then asked about having Harry Kane at Brentford, and he said, look, I'm preparing for the team for Tuesday, and then we'll work our way into the Brentford next week. I haven't even thought about who will start that game. It's about trying to have as many players ready for that fixture as possible, and we've still got guys to come in. He said we signed young Ashley Phillips on Friday, and he'll train with the first team. We hopefully have another couple coming in over the next couple of days. All those kinds of things are part of the planning, and I'll deal with the team for Brentford at the back end of the week. Now, yeah, so obviously we all know we signed Ashley Phillips. Haven't had a chance to do a video on that yet. But yeah, Blackburn played a dangerous game. They tried to out Levy. They wanted to squeeze a bit more money out. Spurs decided, because he'd been with us and spoke to us, they knew pretty much we were his first choice. So we decided to wait until his release clause came into play and just decided to activate that. So grabbed him for 2 million instead of the 4 million they were going to get, but they were asking for nearer 9-10. So they shot themselves in the foot, really, and financially they could have done with a bit of extra cash, but whatever. The interesting thing is that he said about hopefully another couple coming in the next couple of days. Now, at the time he was talking about centre-backs. So does that mean Van de Ven and somebody else, or was he just loosely going around? He meant just signings themselves, which obviously means Van de Ven and the young Argentinian that will be coming in. So he was then asked about Van de Ven, who was at the game, by the way, watching. Providing that gets done, what are you expecting he will bring to the team? He said, well, like I said, it hasn't been done yet, so it's not right for me to talk about, but there's no doubt we need some bolstering in the central defensive area. We're looking for players that can play the kind of football we want. By that he means players that can defend well and have the pace for a high line. He said we need defenders who are going to be able to work in an aggressive formation, be able to defend really well versus one-on-one, and the spacing behind. Hopefully we'll get 1 or 2 done in the next couple of days to bolster that area. So yeah, 1 or 2, possibly another centre-back. Could that be Tapsoba? Adarabayu, by the way, has pretty much said he doesn't want to come to Spurs, and I think that's because he wants first team football, and I don't blame him. But he'd be great to have. Or, game against Barcelona, is that a chance to talk and get the deal for Longley done? Because I think as a backup, I know a lot of people don't like him, but as a backup to Van de Ven, you can't grumble. I thought he played fairly well last season. You might argue the pace isn't there, but his ability to play on the ball is exactly the sort of style that Ange Postecoglou likes. So if you can then partner him on the other side with someone quicker, doesn't matter too much. Cool, these birds are going for it. He said there's been reports of deadlines with Harry. Is it your hope that that one gets sorted one way or other this week? From my perspective, I don't know what deadlines mean. We know there's one decision, and that's the end of the transfer window. Beyond that, I'm in open dialogue with Harry and with the club on a regular basis. I've said to them that if the status quo changes, then inform me. I don't need to know about the comings and goings in between. I just want to deal with what's in front of me, because I've got to still, irrespective of that outcome, build a team here. I can't wait around for a decision either way to get going, and we don't have the time or the luxury to do that. I'm working with what's in front of me. You saw today that Harry certainly is invested in what we are doing, and will keep on doing that unless something changes. He was also asked what he wasn't happy with, and that would be the 5 or 6 minutes at the end of the first half. He said, it's not a reflection on the players, it's just where we're at. I think we're doing lots of things where it's because I'm telling them to do it rather than just belief. I really wasn't happy with that last 5 or 6 minutes of the first half. We were just playing for 1-0. That doesn't sit well with me. I don't blame the players because they're going at the moment through my guidance, but it shows me we still have a lot to work to do in terms of getting them to really believe and be the team we want to be, which is not unexpected. We've been working together for 4 or 5 weeks, so when I see things like that, it's a good sort of reminder to me that there's still a fair way to go. And then he was asked, is that why you kept them in so long at half time? And he was like, it was a fair reason, yeah, and he had a chuckle about it. So yeah, I mean, I thought the game was pretty good. I thought a lot of players that haven't been playing very well for us showed something different. A lot of players got good minutes in their legs. I don't know what we'll see at Barcelona. Maybe he'll have to play a few other players to get them closer to the 90-minute mark. So you might see a fair share of them on the bench, which could be a good thing as well, because if you play Barcelona, you're a little bit leggy, and Barcelona put a really strong team out and you get dismantled, that can be discouraging going into the Brentford game, where at least this way we finished with a lot of the starting 11 finishing on a high of a 5-1 win. So it could be a tactic. But it's an exciting week for Tottenham Hotspur, because not only do we play Barcelona, which is just nice to see, we kick off our season, obviously Saturday at Brentford, but we're also set to welcome the 2 new faces to the first team, obviously with international clearance and medicals and stuff, which are meant to be happening today. And that will be Argentina's under-20 international striker, Alejo Veliz, who has been compared to lots and lots of different strikers. He can play in several positions as well, which is quite helpful. And then Dutch central defender Mickey van der Ven, which we've spoken about before. They're both in London, both due to do their medicals today, and hopefully the signings will be announced early this week. Now, there is a wonder if the signings will just be announced today in the hope that at least one of them can appear a little bit against Barcelona. I would be tempted to throw Van der Ven in the second half. Richarlison should be fine for the game, so I doubt we'll see Veliz take any part in a Barcelona game, even if he was ready. But yeah, exciting, adding another possible 2 players, one of them being in an area that needs to be strengthened in centre-back. And really, it's a positive window. Obviously, Romero's fully signed up, Kulusevski's fully signed up, and it looks like Kulusevski's going to be a much better player in this system. So it's almost, again, like having a new signing. Giovanni Lo Celso obviously hasn't been with us for like 18 months. So that in itself is like a new signing. And I know that's such a cliche thing to say, but we haven't seen him play for us properly in 18 months. And he's come back and it's a system that finally suits him. So, yeah. And I know a lot of people want players to be moved on, but actually there are players that have been at the club that suit this system much better than what we've been playing. So rather than go out and spend a load of money on bringing new players in and sending these ones out who, let's face it, because of the lack of game time and the fact that they haven't played well in these other systems, we're not going to get the value that we want from them. So you might as well just keep them around and save the money, because you're not going to make enough money, but you're going to have to spend more money to replace them. And if someone like Lo Celso already suits this system, just use him. Madness. So yeah, the Harry Kane situation, I'm sure, is going to rattle on. Obviously, there was a so-called deadline set, and then Daniel Levy disappeared out the country. So he's gone to Miami. People were saying that he's just gone on a 2-week break. It's not. His family are on a 2-week break, and apparently he's just out there for the weekend, just to visit them. And it probably gives him a little bit of time to clear his head and think about what he's really going to do about the Harry Kane situation. So, a deadline, what a waste of time. I think Bayern was saying they've set the deadline because if they can't get him in, they've obviously, got to focus on another target. But I think if you can get Harry Kane at some point, you don't set a deadline. If Spurs turn around in a week and a half and go, yeah, you can have him for 85 million, they're going to take it. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed that one. Hopefully I'll be talking to you either later or tomorrow with 2 new signings in the door. And then once that's done, I will then give you more of a detailed briefing on how those players play. Especially Veliz, because we haven't really spoken about him, whereas Van der Ven we've kind of gone into before, but I'll do something more in depth about their careers so far, their playing styles, what I think they can bring the team. So yeah, thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed that one. I've been Kieran from Speaking Spurs. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment, and until next time, come on you Spurs.